obviously extremely happy for our players. Um, against a really good team and a program that I have and we have tremendous respect for in Virginia and what Tony's done there. But I thought even our games that we had coming into tonight, specifically Providence, Tennessee, prepared us to prepare better for tonight. And I think that's why we scheduled like we did to learn some things early. And tonight I thought things started to come together in terms of what our vision has been. But Stephen Crowell I thought was terrific, really good on the glass and finished strong inside. Chucky with 6 assists, no turnovers. The job Max Klesmet did defensively on McNeely for the most part. Just everybody that was in there contributed in a positive way, and that's what we've tried to been building towards, and we got a long ways to go, but it's a significant step in the right direction.
Coaches and Carter Gilmore highlight reel coming up soon.
I'm sure if he has anything to say about it, it will.
That started, or that was part of an 11-0 run when they had cut it to 5.
Right.
So don't you think that was a pretty key?
It was, and we did it with some backups, and
Right.
and that's our depth has been something we've talked about and it's been written about and reported on a lot this year. Even though we're only 5 games in, and it's helped us in situations. Our bench is good and they're developing and they understand their role and come in and do all they can to move the needle, not just keep status quo. Let's see if we can push this thing and then they, again, tonight, they're starting to develop some synergy off the bench and starting to see some rhythm come together with Winter and Gilmore together, and obviously John Blackwell, what he did. So Kamari McGee has played well for us here in the last 2 games and is just, I think everybody's settling in a little bit more comfortably with their roles.
Coach, you out-rebound them by 27 and they shoot 33% from the field. Could you talk a little bit about your physicality and how that?
Yeah, I mean, we've got an older front line. I think that's one thing that makes a difference there. And I think part of it too is we go back to the games we've played and the physicality that we've had to play with, or it's been played with against us. That would, Providence, I didn't feel we were as physical as we needed to be, and it showed with how they were able to take advantage of us. But tonight I felt we played more physical the game after that with Robert Morris, and that needs to be our identity. And then guys were hungry. Offensive rebounds are guys going for extra possessions, and that was big because we were able to get some buckets off of it and extend possessions.
Coach, this is
Mike, go ahead.
You know the defense not being where it
Right.
needs to be to this point of the year. Is it really as simple as the first man just not getting beat off the dribble? It seemed like
To a degree, but there's so much other stuff going on. It's what you do, how attentive to detail you are away from the ball, specifically regarding shooters. As we had to chase around, Rhodey and McNeely tonight, where you can help. Where what you can do with the 2 bigs in the paint, where Groves gives us a little different look than Dunn does in terms of what they're doing offensively. So, and then keeping the ball in front of you is always a good idea. That helps, but having help built around that is important.
Coach, this is a defense that's obviously designed to keep people out of the paint, and yet you guys kind of feasted in there. You guys said they felt like if they were patient, move the ball, that there would be breakdowns. What did you see kind of coming in?
Yeah, I mean, I think with any good defensive team, you have to, and Virginia's terrific. You have to move them. You can't get frustrated on 1 or 2 sides. You can't get frustrated into taking a bad shot early. So I thought for the most part, there was a few instances where we got impatient, but for the most part, we shared the ball pretty well. We moved it. We went side to side and shared the ball, as it popped around the perimeter, and then took advantage of what was, short rolls, throwbacks, throw-ins, all those type of things that we were looking for. So just trying to play good team basketball.
And then Beekman probably played his most assertive offensive game for them. What makes him a tough matchup?
Well, he's a winner. I mean, he understands. He's won a lot of games there. He's got great size for a point guard. I think really strong. He gets downhill. He finishes. He's gotten bigger over his career. So I think he's just, the ball's in his hands a lot, and rightfully so. But he's a handful because you get so consumed with shooters on the perimeter that sometimes you stretch yourself out defensively, and then he's really good at finding those gaps.
There's a couple of times where it looked like maybe we're going to get back into the game, the crowd gets into it, Lesman hits the 1-3, and Carter obviously has the tip dunk. You go have to not to call a timeout a couple times and not run. Did you envision your team responding any better than they did today?
Well, sometimes they need to fight through it rather than me always bail them out. You know, that's one thing with this group. And we were close to a media, and knowing that was earlier in the half, I still wanted to keep 3 timeouts, so there was a lot of game left. So sometimes, as a coach, the gut feel is, all right, this group needs to figure it out. Let's, let them feel a little game pressure rather than me always calling a timeout and relieving it for them. So that they responded well, and that's part of this group growing. I think part of what we've gone through with the 2 losses were we didn't respond well enough to game pressure, and tonight we were better.
Carter's tip dunk is obviously a big highlight. I guess, him coming into the game as well as Kamari, I guess, his defensive subs. Is that them playing their role?
Yeah, absolutely. Carter Gilmore, for people that give him a lot of crap back in the Midwest, specifically in Wisconsin, don't understand the game of basketball, what he does to help this team. He's not a star. I understand that. He understands his role. But he's very vocal. He's got a good mind for the game. He loves this program. And he's made himself he's giving us what we need in that position. And he's been very unselfish in that. So, he battles. And I think that combination off the bench, they're starting to get a little better rhythm with each other, with him and Nolan, and Gilly can go play some 5 if we need to get more mobile. So it's I thought he just brings some energy and some grit to him. He plays hard, and a lot of mistakes or deficiencies can be covered up or equalized by playing hard, and he does that.
Did you go so far as to call him a glue guy for you?
Yeah, because he's very vocal. Locker room, I think him, Klesman, are 2 guys that maybe are, maybe not the stars, so to speak, or get as much media attention, but in terms of toughness and mentality and holding people accountable, they're not afraid to call teammates out, and that's good. You need those guys. You can't. Not everybody has to understand their role, and that's one thing those 2 guys have. Our heartbeat. You always look for the heartbeat. You have your stars and your commanders, so to speak, and but you have to have some heart and soul, and those guys help provide that.
Evan, do you have one?
Evan, go ahead.
Saw Gus back with you today.
He was unavailable tonight, but he's with us he's practice. He's been practicing, so
In terms of maturity, that's
probably not, but we'll see.
You sure what type of role Kamari's going to have coming in here? Is it more clear?
Yeah, I think Kamari has stayed patient, but yet continue to work, and that's always a challenge when you spend a lot of time on the scout team and you platoon over, that you can't get frustrated. As I've always said, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, and I think the boost he's given us now has started to crystallize or clarify a role for him, and he understands to operate in that role, and he's done a good job of that. So got to continue to get better and help him with decision making. I thought it was good tonight, and he's energetic. He's got a voice on the floor too, and teammates respond to that.
Thank you.